It's day 3 of my 12 days of Christmas recipes with spilling the sweet tea, and today we're making collard green dip. If you haven't noticed so far, I wear a different holiday sweater in each video. And baby, today I'm serving shoulders with this cute little green holiday sweater. It's perfect because this sweater is fancy and so is this dip. The first thing you're gonna need is, of course, some collard greens. This is a plate on spinach dip, but instead of spinach, we're using collards. So I'm going to clean my collards like I normally do. I'm just going to remove those larger stems from the bottom. Baby, y'all know I don't do those big old stems in my collard greens. You're going to shred these up anyway, so if you want to leave the stems on, you most certainly can. I just don't want stems in my greens. I know a lot of people like keeping the stems because they are the healthiest part of the collard greens. So do what you want to do. Now all I'm going to do is stack and tightly roll my collard greens, but instead of using a knife, baby, I am using my favorite kitchen tool. You have seen me use this rotary grater so many times in my videos. I absolutely love it. It sticks to my counter and I can use the slicer attachment to slice up these collard greens. You want the texture of these collard greens to resemble spinach, so that's why using this rotary grater is perfect for slicing up these collard greens. It's getting it nice and fine. The grater is sold out on Amazon, but if you want to grab it, it is on the TikTok shop. Just head to my TikTok and you'll see it pinned at the top of my profile. And you can get it from that video by clicking the orange shopping cart in the video. Baby, look at this texture. Absolutely perfect. I'm going to soak my greens in some cold water and add some kosher salt to make sure they're nice and clean. The next thing I'm going to do is just cut up 1 onion. And yes, I'm using a cutting board, y'all. My cutting board is acrylic. I know I'm going to get a comment about it, so I always say something now in my videos. I got it from Amazon, and I think it's also on the TikTok shop as well. But I assure you, I am not cutting up anything on my countertop. I'm just using a white onion in my collard green dip. You can use shallots if you want. Any type of onion works. You just want to dice up your onions. I didn't dice mine up fairly fine. I like seeing chunks of onions in my food, but if you don't like that, just dice yours up really fine. The entire recipe is in my cookbook, Memories on a Plate, Southern Recipes I Learned from My Mama. My cookbook is available on Amazon, and I'll also link it in the description below. If you follow me, you know in my house, swine is fine. So I fried up some bacon that I'm going to be adding into my collard green dip. Once it's fried and looks like this, you want to set it aside and then saute your onions in that bacon fat. Once you saute your onions for a little bit and they become a little bit translucent, you then want to add in some fresh chopped garlic. If you don't have any fresh garlic, you can use the garlic from the jar. Works just fine. Once your collard greens are nice and clean, you want to add them to your sauteed onions and garlic. Baby, look at the texture of these collard greens. The texture is going to make a perfect dip. Once they cook down, they really are going to resemble spinach. You don't have to go crazy with the seasonings. I just season mine with a little bit of salt, some black pepper, and some garlic powder. That's it. That's all. Now you just want to allow your collard greens to cook down. Stir them every once in a while, and once they cook down, they should look a little bit like this. Baby, it's literally giving spinach. If you want to really emulate spinach dip, you can chop up some artichokes in here. I did not. I wanted my collard green dip to be more festive, so I added in some chopped red peppers. These red peppers are not a part of the traditional recipe. I just wanted to make this collard green festive, so I added in these red peppers. So the dip is giving green and red. You see what I did there? Next step is to grate some cheese, and yes, I'm whipping out this rotary grater once again to grate up my cheese. I'm just using some mild cheddar cheese. You can use whatever cheese you like. Just make sure it's freshly grated. Freshly grated cheese definitely makes all the difference in any recipe. Next thing you're gonna need is some sour cream. Baby, I had to look in the cookbook because I was almost about to put 1 cup of sour cream in this recipe. And then when I thought about it before I dumped it in, I was like, wait, is it 1 cup or half a cup? I have made this collard green dip so many times, but sometimes players mess up. And I'm glad I went to go check it before I actually put this sour cream in my collard green dip. Y'all, I make so many dishes, sometimes I forget how much of this and that. Luckily, it's written down in my cookbook, Memories on a Plate, Southern Recipes I Learned from My Mama. If you want to try to recreate this recipe or any other recipes you see me make, grab a copy of my cookbook. Baby, I'm glad I looked because this recipe calls for half a cup of sour cream and not a cup. After you add in your half a cup of sour cream, you want to add in 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I didn't have any fresh Parmesan cheese in my refrigerator because you know if I did, I would use that grater to grate it up. I just used what I had in my pantry. You're also going to need 1/4 cup of mayo in this recipe. And that's it. That's all. Once you add your mayo, you just want to give everything a good mix. I am loving the pop of color with this red bell pepper in my collard green dip. I think people eat with their eyes, and I love the contrast of the red and green in this dip. I served this collard green dip last year at my holiday party, and I'm going to be making it again this year at my holiday party. I'll probably do 2 dips, one without bacon and one with bacon. Of course, I'll be digging in the one that has bacon because, you know, in my house, swan is fine. Of course, I did not forget that bacon I fried up. You want to add your bacon into your collard green dip. Save some for the top and then add in your cheddar cheese. You don't want to add in all the cheddar cheese. I actually took a little bit out off camera because you want some of that cheddar cheese and some of the bacon to be added on top. If you wanted to really emulate spinach dip, you can definitely use white cheddar cheese in this. I just like mild cheddar cheese, so that's what I use, but it's totally up to you. Once you have everything mixed up, it should look a little bit like this. Baby, this collard green dip just don't miss. Now get out your baking dish and add your cooking spray, and then add your collard green dip into your baking dish. As I mentioned earlier, this dip is great for a holiday party, but it's also great for football Sunday. And it's easy to make ahead. You can make it ahead, store it in your refrigerator, and then bake it when you're ready to eat it. All I'm doing here is just smoothing out the top a little bit because I'm going to add more cheese and more bacon on top. If you want to use turkey bacon, you absolutely can, but I love pork bacon, but use whatever you want. This is your dip. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be making this again for my holiday party this year. I have someone that comes to my party every year and they do not eat meat. This dip is good with or without the bacon. But baby, if you like collard greens like I do with ham hocks in it, this dip is a hit. It's something about the cheese and the collard greens and the bacon that work so well together. Like I said earlier, you want to bake it on 350 degrees until it's brown and bubbly. And once it comes out the oven, it should look a little bit like this. Baby, spinach dip for what? Collard green dip for the win. This is so good. When I was at Target last week, I picked up these Tostitos. I love that they have a holiday version. It comes in red. So I wanted to give it a try. I love that the packaging showed that the red did not come from any artificial sources, which was great. These are so cute and festive for the holiday season. To serve this up, I'm just going to put my dip in the middle of my platter and then add my Tostitos all around my serving tray. I absolutely love how this turned out. This collard green dip turned out so good. And I love the presentation of the red tortilla chips and the collard green dip in the middle. One thing about me, I'm going to make sure my food presentation is on point. You have to try and make this dip. Cheers to the holiday season. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss day 4 of my holiday recipe series. This dip was definitely spilling the sweet tea. Approved.